But there's a lot of stories like that we had going on through the years. We ended up working out of the house in his home. We had a 3-car garage, and one bay was like the header, header side. Next bay was the exhaust side, which I did all the exhaust on my back with jack stands. I was the exhaust guy. And the third bay was like UPS shipping out. We used to have a different place, bend some header components up for us, and then we assemble the headers up and then ship them out to people. So that was the beginning of Cooks again. You know, a heater was a kerosene stove, and you put some cinnamon on top of it to drown out the fumes. And that was during the winter time, and during the summertime it'd be like such a nail candle that at one time he knocked it over. We cleaned the carburetor out from the race car, and the carburetor, the fuel got in it. He must have spilled some fuel on it. We knocked over the citronella can, and it lit the whole bench on fire. That's a whole other story. Moving out around 1991, 92, 91, we moved to a shop, a fabrication shop. And then the chassis shop called the Chassis Connection. It was what's this guy's name? John. My friend John, we used to call him Fat John, whatever. But John used to own the shop. He actually passed away, unfortunately, but he had the shop, he had the chassis shop up front, and then we rented a small spot in the back. And then we ended up eventually taking over the whole shop, which was a 10,000 square foot shop. And then we hired more men. We had like 15 guys. And then we had to move in like 2004 or 5. We had to move into Candlewood, which is 25,000 square foot. And then we had about 35 guys. And then around 2008, we moved to 2008, 2009, we moved to North Carolina, which now we have a total of 65,000 square foot. And 70 guys, 70. Well, he graduated. Long Island, New York was a very interesting area because it was that Grumman's was there and had a lot of people that were in the aerospace market, and some of the best engine builders were from the Long Island, New York. There's a ton of speed shops, and there's a handful of there's National Speedway, there's Freeport, there was the Hamptons. So there's a handful of 3 or 4 racetracks on the island. Islip Speedway. It's a lot of racetracks. There are 3 or 4 racetracks, and not even in one island. Now there's no more racetracks left. But so with that being said, there's a lot of guys like the hot rods. They go to the junkyard, they get parts. And, he used to make exhaust. He used to go to the back of the gas stations and grab pipes, old exhaust systems, and make headers out of it. That's what he used to use. He used to gas weld everything up, and then he used to learn how to make things faster and better, and take an engine, and take one engine out of one car. He put a Chevy in his Oldsmobile and the pumpkin eater because the Brooklyn boys beat him with their Chrysler, so he put a big block Chevy in it in his Oldsmobile, which was my mother bought the car from original 442 Olds. The car only went 1170, which is pretty fast back in the day. And then he ended up putting a big block Chevy in it, and he ended up going like 1040s with it. I just pushed him. He never wanted to go out of the garage.
So you were just like, hey, we need to do this.
Yeah, he's like, wait, one day, you can make. I can pay you $300. I'm like, okay, that's not a lot of money. I'm like, I tell you what, I'll get the business, and I'll expand it, and I'll advertise it, and I'll get to work, and we're gonna move. We're gonna get a bigger shop. So sure enough, he's like, hey, he's like, Fat John's got a shop. Actually, it was John Guerrero. Actually, what his name was. He goes, Fat John's got a shop. He's got a room. I'm like, how much is great? What does he got? He gets 1,500 square foot. I'm like, that's all we need. It's great. And that's how we just, and I kind of like twisted his arm to get into his shop. And then we got our shop. Like, I don't know, It's like he's like, I was like, we need more guys. So then we started hiring guys. Then we started expanding. And then went to grow a shop twice the size. He goes, all right, we're gonna rent out half this shop. So and I went to the top of the office. I looked out because there was like a second story office. I looked out. I'm like, I could visualize the whole shop laid out. I'm like, no. So we'll have this thing filled up in not even 6 months. Just give me 6 months. Within 6 months, we had the whole shop completely full. And we were blazing wire.